Hello everyone and welcome to my video. So as you may know, the AP exam for Computer Science A just wrapped up. A lot of my students took that exam. So for them and for those who are curious, I am going to be going through and doing all of the FRQ problems for the year 2025. That way, my students specifically can get a look and see how they, as always, what I always tell them is that there are multiple ways to get to the same answer in computer science. So just because I did it one way does not mean that that is the only way to do it. But this is just to give you kind of a little bit of insight and give you a peek into what the answers are ahead of the actual official answers coming out. So let's go ahead and dive right on in. So question one. Question one has two parts. So we're going to go ahead and read this problem together. Then I'm going to go ahead and show you how I would have coded this. So question one, you are given a dog walking company. So they present you with a class called Dog Walk Company that has a few methods inside of it. The first method here is num available dogs. The implementations do not matter because they tell us how to use it with this method signature here. And they tell us what the return value will be based on the description here. So we do not care about the implementation. That is irrelevant to us. So we have num available dogs. We also have a method called update dogs. You will see that this here returns nothing, but it takes in two parameters. So let's keep on taking a look. So that dog walk company is going to be used in our dog walker class. And this is going to be actually what the problem is going to be asking. We are going to be writing two methods of this dog walker class. So dog walker class has an instance variable called max dogs. It also has an instance variable called company that is going to represent that dog walk company class that we took a look at earlier. We are going to be implementing the walk dogs method as well as this dog walk shift method. And then we are also given a constructor here that just takes in max and company that initializes those instance variables described up above. Cool. All right, so let's dive into part A. So we are going to be writing the dog walks method in part A, and we are given a helper method. So they tell us this num available dogs that we looked at in the dog walk company. And what that is going to do, this is going to return the number of dogs available to us at a given hour. So that is going to be important for us as we walk through this problem. It says that for us, the dog walker, which is going to be the class we're implementing, is going to walk as many dogs as that company has available to walk. And as long as the available number of dogs is not greater than that max number of dogs that is represented by the max dogs variable, then we will walk that many. Oops. We are also given another helper method called update dogs, which basically says that it is going to update that dog walk company so that people can't walk the same dog. So this is going to just be another method that they want us to use here. So they give us an example here to make our lives a little bit easier. So this is going to be the exam is going to do for us throughout as we're going to be walking through these problems. So the dog walking company says that in this example, we have 10 dogs that need to be walked at a given hour. However, our max variable can only walk a total of 4. What that means is that the update dogs method, it will be used and it will say that we will walk 4 out of 10 of those dogs during that given hour because we can only walk a max of 4 dogs. In another example, the company has 3 dogs available during that given hour, but our maximum is 4. What does that mean? That means that we can only walk 3 dogs because only 3 dogs are available during that hour. So that's going to be the example that are going to be the 2 different scenarios that we are going to account for as we write this method. And then it mentions that we must use num available dogs, update dogs to receive full credit. And it gives us a few preconditions that are just going to dictate the hours. So the hours are going to be in the range 0 to 23, and that is inclusive. Great. Now let's take a look at what the code would look like. Okay, so I've gone ahead and created a stub of what that question looked like. So you'll notice that I have my dog walker class, this dog walk company, just for the sake of me not getting any red underlines here. Then I have my instance variables here, my constructor, and then this is going to be the method that we are going to be writing. So what I like to do whenever I am starting these kinds of methods is just pull out that information and write it down here to make my life a little bit easier. So at a high level, this is going to be the steps that we are going to be writing in order to complete this method. So num available dogs, as we know, will tell us how many dogs are available to be walked during that hour. Great. We are going to walk as many dogs as the company has available, as long as that is not greater than max dogs. If it is, then we're going to walk max dogs. The next thing is that we should use update dogs because it tells us to update the company with the number of dogs that we found that we will be walking during that hour. And then finally, we will be returning the number of dogs walked during that hour. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing that we can do is go ahead and pull out how many available dogs there are to be walked. So we can create a variable called available dogs, and we can set this equal to this company because this is going to be this instance variable. If you have been working with me throughout the semester, then you may know that sometimes I do highly recommend to do this, but for the sake of making it a little bit easier, we're just going to do company.numAvailableDogs. This is going to call that method, and what we can do, and this should give us how many dogs are available to be walked during that specific hour. The next thing that I will go ahead and do is just create a variable called dogs walked. This is going to be what I am going to return. This is optional, of course, right? You can store this or use it directly, but I like storing things in variables. The next thing is that we need to have a condition. So we need to decide what this available dogs is and compare it to the max dogs walked. So in the first case, right, we have our max dogs. So if this dot max dogs, if this so happens to be greater than the available dogs, then we know that we should be walking, right, the number of dogs that are available, right? Because we can't walk any more dogs than we have available to be walked. So in this case, we're going to set dogs walked equal to the smaller number, which is going to be available dogs. Now, in the case that available dogs is actually greater than max dogs, well, then that means that we need to walk as many dogs as we are capable of actually walking. So in this case, this would be max dogs. So this is going to take care of our second point where I mentioned here, we will walk as many dogs as the company has available as long as it's not greater than max dogs. So now at this point, we now have how many dogs that we are going to walk. So based on the problem, it says that we need to pass that into update dogs. So in this case, we pass in the hour, and then we're going to pass in the dogs that we are going to be walking. And then finally, the final step is going to be to return that same variable back from the function. And so this right here is going to actually complete our walk dogs method. Very straightforward. The biggest piece about this is just pulling out the information that we needed in order to actually accomplish it. So catch me in the next video. We're going to be doing